Welcome to the Health, Wealth, and Happiness Show. I'm your host, Patricia Martin. Hi, and welcome to the Health, Wealth, and Happiness Show. My name is Patricia Martin. My guest today is Tony Pratt, son of Vern Pratt, who is a rockabilly and country rock legend. Vern, thank you so much for being on our show today, Tony.
Thanks, Patricia. Thanks for having me.
Vern is was from Hazard, Kentucky.
Right.
And just an incredible person. I had the opportunity of knowing him for about 5 years before he passed away. And I understand you've made about 4 shows recently with a number of his tunes, that he's a very prolific musician.
Yeah, I just did 4 shows, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's part of the series of shows I've been doing, Unsung Heroes of Country Music. But it's not just country in his case, for sure. Mm-hmm. And the first show starts out with the rockabilly music in the early days, in 1960 was his first recording. And then it proceeds on through, and I've got 44 songs that are categorized generally as country. He actually did some acoustic and rock stuff.
Well, thank you for sharing your dad's music with Nashville and the world. And what was it like growing up and being surrounded by country music and band members? And what was that like as a child? You were born in 1957, and
right.
So you were what, 4, 5, 6 years old when all this was happening, or beginning?
Yeah, as long as I can remember. I mean, when I was 5 years old in the first grade, my dad used to give me a quarter for every song I would learn of his. Mm. And my first day at first grade, the entire school, 8 grades, came out and cornered me on the playground and made me sing my dad's songs.
And I know which one it was.
Yeah, the one...
My favorite.
One of the ones that I had learned was Good Good Man, which is actually the B-side of his song Matilda. It was done in 1960 also.
Well, did your dad tour with his band? Did he have one band or more than one band, or?
Yeah, he had all kind of bands. His first thing that got him into the Hall of Fame, Rockabilly Hall of Fame, was The Wind Told Me So is the A-side, and Go Find Your Love is the B-side. Those are the first 2 songs that are on part 1 of the series of all his music. There's a total of 44 songs.
Wow. It's amazing. Now, I've heard tales about a psychedelic bus.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, it was the first hippie van I ever saw.
I was going to say, I didn't even think there were hippies.
No, there were no hippies back then, but that word hadn't came along yet. But it was just a van that had been painted all different bright, cool colors, just kind of swirled on there, so it was really different.
And Vern was always the lead singer, the leader of the band.
Right, he was a band leader and lead singer for Pratt Brothers and the Rockin' Five, which was him and his brother Eugene and 2 other guys. Eugene liked the name Rockin' Five, even though there were only 4 of them.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Well, did he have the same, I know he would talk about T-Bone McLeod.
Yeah, Tiny McLeod was his favorite guitar player and guy who played on a lot of his records.
Very incredible.
Yeah, and I've even got solos of a couple of his songs that my dad produced that are amazing.
We had an opportunity to spend some time with one of the members of the Platters, and you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Virgil Gibson, when he heard my dad's music, the first thing he said was, "That's one of the top 2 guitar players I've ever heard." Wow. And so he noticed, and he'd been in music at that point for at least 40 years, I guess.
Wow. So he was country or rock? Or?
Well, he was a country boy, and he came to Nashville with a record deal, and we lived in Hendersonville with Johnny Cash and very few other people.
Was he rock or country?
Oh yeah, was he rock or country? Yeah, he came with a record contract as a country artist. Mm-hmm. But of course, my dad was one of the first people, the pioneer person, who put rock and roll electric guitar and other instruments with country. But he also had, fiddles and mandolins and steel guitar and stuff like that all mixed in. It's kind of like every song in country music now. It's really got, they're using rock instruments. But back then they told my dad, "Oh, that's not country. because you got rock and roll instruments on there, even though it would be a country song.
So he was a little bit too country for rock.
He was too country for rock. He was plenty rock for. I mean, he was too rock for country, but he was plenty much rock and roll for anybody.
Wow. Well, here's an amazing man, and he also wrote songs too.
Oh yeah,
right?
he's a great writer. He
Great
wrote most of the
songwriter.
songs and.
Yeah. Can you give some
And
of the
produce the
lyrics
music.
or talk about some of the songs? Or oh, I know the one I wanted to ask you about. Excuse me, but coming from Hazard and talk about his father and the family, and talk about my sister's
Right,
shoes.
there was musical roots. My grandfather and grandmother were well known. My grandfather was an old regular Baptist minister, and they would go to a lot of different churches. They'd be invited to come and sing because they were really good singers. And all old regular Baptist singers are amazing, and that's really the origin of bluegrass music. Ralph Stanley and Bill Monroe. If you put music to old regular Baptist singing, it would be similar to bluegrass, a lot of it. So, but they don't actually use musical instruments in the church.
So one of the songs that he wrote was about hand-me-down.
Right. I had to wear my sister's shoes. He talks about in that song, and I don't know that he actually had to wear his sister's shoes, but he definitely, grew up poor. And the one line in the song is, "My dad tried hard to get ahead, but he could barely keep his family fed."
Right.
But it's kind of a sad song, that he went to school and the kids made fun of him for having to wear his sister's shoes. But it's got a comedic twist at the end of the song. Hey, baby. Chloe is the star of the show.
Yes, she's been on the Health, Wealth, and Happiness show once before. Yeah. So tell me some more about some of the music that he's done. Some of the I know some of the people that he headlines it for and he opened for.
Right. He toured with Merle Haggard and Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty
And what did you
a
think
bunch
of
of
all
other
that?
people.
Were they just regular people to you?
Well, no, I knew they were performers and everything like my dad, but I mean, I was just around music so much. I didn't realize, wow, that's Merle Haggard out there on stage, that's Conway Twitty. But, they had a great time. And I remember one of the concerts I was at was a Merle Haggard concert, and they had people getting autographs from Merle Haggard and from my dad, and a whole line of young girls. I was about 13 years old, lined up to get my autograph because they knew I was my dad's son. And at the time, he had the contract with 16th Avenue Records, and they had changed his name to Vernice P. Paul rather than Vernice Pratt or Vern Pratt. And so I signed the autographs Tony P. Paul.
That's so funny. That is so funny. So, but you told me you used to pump gas for Johnny Cash when you were...
Oh yeah, growing up in Hendersonville, Johnny Cash would come in. My first actual job where I got a pay stub, although I worked for Hendersonville Landscaping and some other stuff before that, I was making $1 an hour at Spur Gas, pumping gas for 25 cents a gallon.
Wow.
And Johnny Cash would come in practically every day, and I would check his oil and fill his tank up, and he would be driving that car that's based on the song, where he's a guy working in Detroit, I guess, and he's getting different parts off of different cars and puts them all together into one disjangled car. And he actually had a car built like that. That's at the Johnny Cash Museum. And that's what he would drive. And he'd always be wearing a black shirt. He would sometimes be wearing jeans. During the wintertime, sometimes he would wear light blue. But other than that, he pretty much was the man in black.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I think people, at different parts of the country, they don't realize how fortunate we are to, be in a restaurant and see the Mandrells or see Tim and Faith. It's pretty amazing, the people that we see here. And I think it's also pretty amazing that people are very courteous too.
Yeah, people don't bug. I mean, I was at the gas station not too long ago, and Amy Grant was there.
Right.
Pumping her own gas,
Right.
And I didn't bother her, but
Yeah, but still, it's Amy Grant. They're
really
really
cool.
cool. Yeah, I know. It's very, very. Nashville is an interesting place. We welcome everyone to come, and it's we understand it's 83 people a month or a day move to Nashville.
I think it's a day, but
I think it's a day. I mean, things are growing, and the Country Music Hall of Fame, and it's just
yeah. The TV show Nashville has promoted
TV show
Nashville a lot.
Nashville with very, very talented people on there. It's just been really great for Nashville. And,
Absolutely.
And Channel 19 and NECAD and our shows. You have your own show called Mystery Us.
Right. My dad's been on that show, and that's Mystery Us number 27 on YouTube. It's Mystery Us, the word mystery, then a space, and then us, US.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of a play on words, because the mystery is in us,
Mm-hmm.
not just outside of us.
Tell our viewers a little bit about when your dad was playing cards with Bert.
Oh yeah, my dad, I mean, he did a lot of stuff. He hung out with Willie Nelson. After the opera, they'd go over to Tootsie's and stuff, and that was before Willie Nelson got a hit or anything. But also, what was the...
About Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah, yeah. He worked on. He was in the Teamsters Union and was a Teamsters captain, and so he was driving Burt Reynolds, and he was really good friends with Jerry Reed already, and so they sat around and played Tonk all the time during dead time, because there's a lot of dead time when you're making movies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think they were playing just for like 50 cents or something, but it ended up being a few $1,000s. My dad won off of them. It's kind of unfair because he taught them how to play the game, but they're playing for money. But they had fun.
Wow.
They could afford it. So
Very cool.
WW and the Dixie Dance Kings, yeah.
And now, what did your mom, your brother, what did they all think about all this? They hold the fort down, or were they in the music industry? Are you in the music industry?
Well, I have been as a songwriter, and I mean, I've performed as a singer in plays mainly. I've never went out and done gigs like my dad, or
Mm-hmm.
sang in nightclubs other than karaoke, you know. But yeah, my brother was
It took you a while
trumpet
to
player.
learn to play, to sing, though. Your
And he
dad
plays
said.
guitar.
Did your dad say that you became?
Yeah, he said I'm the only person he ever knew of that learned how to sing that couldn't. 'Cause you know,
I
it took
remember
me till I was
saying.
30, in my 30s, before he thought I was a good singer.
And what about your mother? What did she think about all these band members living in your home? And
Well, she put up with it, so she's a lot to do with the success of the music, or the existence of the music and everything.
a good sport, Jan Pratt.
And my dad,
Janice Pratt.
we had a whole band living with us in Hendersonville, and it was like 8 members in the band, and my dad rehearsed them for 6 months before they went on the road, and they toured all over North America.
And I remember he always said that they were all dressed perfect. You know, they had to match and be coordinated outfits. And
Right, it wasn't any jeans or T-shirt. Believe me, my dad would have shot them if they thought about that. But you know, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just it was just a different time, and he
Yeah.
believed in dressing and making it look like a unified. He wanted to put on the show. He wanted to be rehearsed.
Right. And your brother has done some bodyguarding and
Right, my brother was bodyguard for Johnny Lee, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, from the Urban Cowboy movie, and also Sawyer Brown.
Mhm.
And he later stopped being the security and started doing merchandising for
Oh,
them.
right. Hmm. But wasn't he? Didn't he go with Dolly Parton and Islands in the Stream?
Right, it was he also bodyguarded Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Sheena Easton on the Islands in the Stream tour.
And that was a year long, right? A year long tour.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Can you play some of your dad's?
Yeah, and my dad actually recorded one of Dolly Parton's songs called "I'm a Drifter"
Oh,
too, and so.
what's your favorite song that your dad did?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I mean, I've got like favorites of rockabilly, country, rock, different ones. If I had to choose, I guess I would say "A Place in the Sun," which is a Stevie Wonder song that I actually got him to record, because he never recorded cover songs much. You know,
Right.
he did some cover songs when he was out playing a little bit, but mainly he did his own stuff. And but when he was in the studio, I begged him, please record "A Place in the Sun" and "Stagger Lee" were 2 of my favorite songs, and he recorded them.
Oh, and talk about Pearl is a Girl.
Yeah, he's got a song called "Pearl's Not a Girl." it's a beer.
Pearl's not a girl, yeah.
And it's the finest thing in Texas, so I hear. It was good for dear old Pappy. Lord, sure did make him happy. Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer. But yeah, in the Pearl Beer Company, there was a guy that was, they were going to use the song for commercials, but for some reason or another it never happened. But it is one of the songs that is...
They still have Pearl Beer in Texas, I understand.
Right, and I've got a video with that song up on YouTube.
Oh.
If anybody wants to look that up
Could we
too.
put a clip of that in here?
Sure, yeah,
on
we
the show?
can put a clip of that
That'd be
video.
good. Pearl Beer people out there, keep heads up. Who knows?
Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer. Here it comes. We'll slice it right in here.
Right, exactly. So
Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer.
it's a beer,
Finest thing in Texas, so I hear.
so I hear.
It was good for dear old Pappy, and it sure did make him happy. Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer. When I put on my fancy pants and Pearl and I go out to dance round and round that ballroom floor. Every now and then we pause for a very worthwhile cause and ease right out the old back door. Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer.
It's a beer,
Finest thing in Texas, so I hear.
so I hear.
It was good for dear old Pappy, Lord, it used to make him happy. Now Pearl ain't a girl, it's a beer. Pearl and I, we make the rounds of all the honky-tonks in town, just a spreading all of that good cheer. When we go on a trail ride, I get drunk cause dang my hide, I just can't seem to get my fill of beer. Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer.
It's a beer,
Finest thing in Texas, so I hear.
so I hear.
It was good for dear old Pappy, Lord, it used to make him happy. Now Pearl's ain't a girl, it's a beer. When good friends get together, it makes no difference what the weather. Pearl is good to have along. She's a comfort on a frosty night, and at a party she's out of sight. Pearl won't ever do you wrong. Pearl's not a girl, it's a beer.
It's a beer.
Finest thing in Texas.
Chloe's in the TV shows.
But yeah, I was in a play at the Appalachian Mountain Museum, which is a living museum where people live like folks lived hundreds of years ago. They build log cabins without using any nails and every other kind of folk art you can imagine, from weaving to whatever. And they got a play there called On Top of Old Smoky. This is in East Tennessee, of course, and I was in that play, and this was before my dad thought I knew how to sing, and I didn't have confidence to sing too much, but he actually recorded 4 of the songs in the show. The same guy that wrote the Stephen Foster story that's been going on for ever and ever is also the author, and I can't think of his name at the moment, but he's also the author of On Top of Old Smoky, and there's 4 songs in there which include On Top of Old Smoky, and these are all songs that are on the 44 songs that I just gave as a gift, a Christmas present to the city of Nashville and the world. But On Top of Old Smoky, You Are My Sunshine, Red River Valley, and Have I Told You Lately. And these 4 songs are the only ones that are acoustic. So he didn't do a lot of acoustic recording or whatever.
Cool. Well, I know your dad was a veteran.
Right, he was in the Korean War veteran, and he was stationed in Germany just like Elvis. I don't know if they just sent singers there.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time at the Veterans Administration Hospital with Furnace, and
yeah, they probably saved his life, 1,000 times. Some of the veterans hospitals get bad rap, but this one in Nashville,
yes.
I believe it's the top #1 veterans hospital, and they're great.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was there for months on end. You can't do that at a regular hospital, they are really compassionate and really
And some loved him and some
took
not
care
so
of him.
much.
Well, my dad was cranky sometimes, and he would make people mad, but he never let it
He
bother
did it
him.
his way.
He always did it his way, that's right. He was not a good patient
No, he
when he was
was.
feeling bad.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, he was just such a cool guy. Um, he loved music so much. I mean, he never drank a drink of alcohol
Yeah.
before performing or anything. He never really was a big drinker anyway, but he just would not do anything because the music came first, and that was, you know, it was always the case. He never let business and pleasure get mixed. He always was, because he wanted the music to sound right and be the best it could possibly be. And I believe he never failed at, giving the best performance possible.
right. I remember you said when he would perform, his hair was so black it looked blue.
Yeah, he had this naturally jet black hair, real silky hair, and when the lights would hit it, it would, make that blue reflection. So he looked like Superman in the comics, But he had long hair a lot of the time when he was playing, even though he was with country music.
What about the hippie song?
He's got a song called Redneck, and it's also included in the 44 that I've shared with everyone. And it's got a line in it, or a couple of lines that he says, I'm a good old boy and I've earned my self-respect. I just stay at home and watch TV and ain't never smoked no funny cigarettes. And if that makes me a redneck, then I'm proud to be a redneck.
He's never stomped it.
He said, and the last part of it is, I ain't never stomped a hippie, but believe me, if I ever do, it won't be because his hair was long. Because his hair was probably going to be longer than theirs in most cases.
And you said your dad had hair down to his shoulders at that time.
Oh, yeah. Most of his life he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in his late 50s before he ever got a short haircut.
Pretty amazing. Okay, we're going.
But my dad also owned some nightclubs in Nashville. One called the Blue Horizon that was above Lynn's Liquor Store on Broadway, right across from Tootsie's there.
I bet some of our viewers have been there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please write in if you have, and contact Tony, and if you have, maybe you might have even known him. That'd be really fun. We've had people call and ask for specific records, and what was the lady who called and she said, I've got to track this down, and what, remember that? And because people remember.
Yeah,
it was their time when they were dating, and
yeah, lots of people who have written songs with my dad, or that their family members maybe have written songs or played with my dad, musicians, or people who he's produced, because he produced a lot more music on others, than he did. He was a singer for 30 years, and he retired from touring and all that. He got tired of that, but he
toured all over the United States.
Was about music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a typical Nashville story. Come to Nashville, get in a bad record deal, and he had some songs that were #1 on all the charts and all the top stations in New York and LA and everywhere else. But he couldn't get a distribution because it was an independent label, and they didn't know how Nashville worked, and they didn't play along. And they did it twice, where people wanted to buy the music, but they couldn't buy it anymore.
Tell our viewers how many records were produced back then. Or you remember that?
Yeah, in 1960, every record was a rare record. And I believe there was, I forget the number right now. It's in the other show that I did with my dad, but it's just a few hundred records.
Just a few hundred a year.
Of all kinds of music, of any kind. And certainly there weren't people doing a lot of rockabilly or anything.
No, and I just think about movies. When a new movie came out, it was a major
Most
event.
of this was
when
choral
we were
music.
little, so I guess it's the same thing. When a new record came out, it was a major event. They're just, they weren't putting out hundreds.
Right, every record made in 1960 is a rare record. And my dad's records from that era sell for over $100 on rare record sites for an actual vinyl copy of his record.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show and and we'll have some clips of some of Vern's music and perhaps there'll be Tony's music one day, and you'll be making touring. You think?
No, I don't know that I'll be touring or anything, but you know,
Well, you continue to write music then.
yeah, I continue to write, and yeah, I will try to produce others and help people in the music business any way that this show can facilitate getting their name out there. So if you would like to be a guest on my show,
Or mine.
you can contact me at pratttony@gmail.com. And
Or
if you want to
can
be on
t-
Patricia's show,
healthandwellnessmag@gmail.com. And
Right.
I published a magazine for 11 years, and now I'm obviously doing sort of retired and on TV, but it's both are fun. You get to meet a lot of really interesting people.
absolutely.
One of our next guests that's going to be coming up is Ira Weiss, and I probably will get this wrong, but I think it's called Old Friends Senior Sanctuary for Dogs in Madison, Tennessee. And this gentleman retired and has taken his funds and depends on donations, and has numerous dogs that get to live out the remainder of their lives free and never in cages. And Leo is my favorite, and it's just an incredible story. I'll probably cry through that whole story, but wonderful man for doing that. Similar to like what Emmylou Harris does with her rescue.
Yeah, Emmylou Harris is really cool. I used to work at Tower Records as an internal investigator, and her daughter Holly worked there, and we were invited to a lot of parties at her house, and so I got to meet and know Emmylou. She is so cool. She's a big NFL football fan.
Is she?
She watches all the games, not just the Titans.
Oh my gosh! Well,
So
we won't talk about the Titans this year.
no,
They'll do
we will
maybe
next year. 'Cause the Titans are
2016
building.
will be better.
Absolutely. But yeah, my son Jet is also a musician and rapper, but he's got the most positive, melodic, soothing kind of rap you can imagine.
It's beautiful. It
It's
really
called
is.
conscious rap, and
I
it's
didn't think I liked rap until I heard his name is Jet, J-E-T-T, and it's really, I mean, remember that name. He's very talented.
yeah, he's a rapping white boy, and he will do well. I think he's got him a deal with Sony there, so we'll see how that all turns out. He's getting ready to record 2
And he also does acoustic.
CDs this month, right? He plays acoustic guitar. He's a guitar player.
Yeah.
But he's an incredible writer and just all around good musician, good person.
Yeah. Again, Tony, thank you again for being on the Health, Wealth, and Happiness show. And also, please tune in to the Mystery Us show. Thanks again. Have a happy new year.
Peace.